Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, all your latest news from Rangers FC, guys, as we continue through transfer silly season until the August the 30th, when this will all come to an end. The craziness will stop, the madness will stop, and we can just focus on what we've got. Well, news, obviously, that Connor Goldson completed his £1.5 million transfer today to Aris Limassol, which leaves a hole in our central defensive positions, where we all, I think, kind of said that we do need some centre backs, two, hopefully, definitely one in this window. And as you know, I think we have to accept that this window is not the be all and end all. This rebuild will take 2 to 3 windows to get right. It's asking a lot of Clement and Coppen to undo the work of the previous 2, 3, 4 windows, which have gone, I think we can all quite agree, very badly in terms of players we've acquired and the resale value of those players and the types of players that we've bought that have obviously not achieved a great deal for Rangers, obviously not achieved what we hope they'd achieve. So Goldson is gone. And, you know, in terms of centre-backs, we've got John Suter, we've got Ben Davis, Leon Balogun, Clinton Nsiala, Leon King as our current crop of centre-backs. I think if you're looking at it, with the sort of coach's eye towards Saturday, you're probably thinking, Suter and Davis may well start. With Balogun on the bench as cover. Nsiala, I think, has a promising future, but as the manager himself said, he doesn't see Nsiala as a starter just quite yet. The one obviously concern you have is that Davis appears too soft to play in Scottish football. He's okay in Europe, where it's less physical. It's more based on what you do on the ground, passing game, moving it out from the back, something he's very good at. Whereas obviously in Scotland, it's a lot more physical. John Suter, another player who, he's a decent player. I like John Suter, don't get me wrong. Brings it out from the back, lays his body on the line, decent tackler, but does have that critical mistake in him. So I do think we do need someone who can head the ball, someone who can lead from the back. Now, a name that has come up was a name that was actually previously linked with our Glasgow neighbours, those friendly lot across the city in green and grey. That's right, Celtic. I must obviously call them by their proper name, so as not to be called unprofessional. So the player we've currently been linked with is a Austrian international of Romanian heritage. His parents are Romanian, hence his name. His name is Flavius Daniliuc. I think that's how you say it. It's another one of those very difficult names to say. It's one of those names you'll have to obviously get him to say, I think, to actually learn how to say it. That is the guy's name, Flavius Daniliuc. He is a centre-half, currently with Salernitana. Yes, that is not a Salernitana jersey. That is a Red Bull Salzburg jersey, where he spent last season on loan. What we know of Daniliuc is he's 23 years old. He is a 6'2" centre-back. Now, when he was first sort of burst onto the scene, a lot of people identified him as being one of the most promising, talented, up-and-coming centre-backs in the European game. His youth career is certainly one of a who's who of great European clubs. Okay, I mean, the first one isn't. But, he started his youth career with the amazingly named, I've got to say, this is a brilliant name for a football club, Admira Wacker. I think that'd be a good name for some of the Scottish clubs, actually, the amount of whacking they do of our players. In 2010, when he was just 9 years old. In 2010, at the end of 2010, he was then transferred as a youth player, moved to one of the biggest clubs in Austrian football historically, Rapid Vienna, where he spent a year before then being talent scouted and brought across to Spain, where he was with Real Madrid for 3 seasons. From 10 years old, he was with Real Madrid as a youth player. He was then picked up by Bayern Munich in 2015, where he remained until the year 2000. Now, you've got to kind of say that as a youth career, if that's where you're spending your time, learning the game, number one, you mustn't be that bad a footballer if the likes of Rapid Vienna, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are picking you up. And number two, if you're coming through academies with Vienna, Madrid and Munich, you're probably working alongside some very talented footballers and learning from some of the best coaches in the game. So, he certainly had a pedigree upbringing, and I think that will obviously stand him in good stead as he goes forward in his career. He is, after all, still only 23, so he has a lot of development there. Now, before you automatically all write him off as an inexperienced youth player, he has played over 13,000 minutes of football in his young career. In terms of his career stats, in terms of first team football, focusing on first team football now, he's played 49 times in 3 seasons with Nice in Ligue 1. He played 37 times, 38 times. Well, actually, no, in total, it's actually 37 times in Ligue 1, So 49 times in Ligue 1, 37 times in Serie A with Salernitana, and he made 11 appearances last season with Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian Bundesliga. Overall, for Nice, he made 55 appearances. For Salernitana, 38 appearances and 12 appearances overall for Red Bull Salzburg, giving 109 career appearances, so over 100 appearances in football, which is, a pretty decent rate. If you take off the 4 from Bayern Munich's second team, which are probably still very strong, 105 appearances in first team football, so over a century of appearances in actual proper senior football. In terms of the lad's experiences, in terms of, where he's played, as I've said, it's Ligue 1, it's Serie A. He's also played in the Europa League. He's also played in the UEFA Champions League qualifying rounds for his team. So he has got European experience. So it's not like you're signing a complete novice who does not know first team football, who does not know European football, who does not know senior football. Now, he is under contract until 2026 with Salernitana, but apparently Salernitana are willing, excuse me, to listen to offers for the player. So, these offers, market value wise, he's currently market valued at transfer market €6 million, which is around £5 million. So it would cost around £5 million to get Danieluk to the club. But he certainly seems like a very talented centre back. Looking at his defensive stats now, and I was going through the scouting reports, and there's a hell of a lot on there. You can basically break a player down across virtually every single element of the game: passing, through balls, offensively, shots. Everything can be broken down. But I sort of took out one element, which is the defensive element of the game, which is obviously why we would be signing him. He does seem to be a player who favours shorter passes rather than long ones. He's not a guy who likes to lump the ball long, although his through balls are in the 88th percentile, which is pretty decent. So in terms of per 90 minutes, he makes 2.3 tackles per 90 minutes, which puts it, now this is rated. Now this percentile rating is against other centre halves. That's how they rate it, against other centre backs, not against everybody in the game. It's rated against players in the same position as him. So he's rated in the 94th percentile for tackles. He's rated in the 90th percentile for tackles won. He's rated in the 91st percentile for tackles in the defensive third. He's rated in the 72nd percentile for tackles in the mid third and 98th percentile for tackles in the attacking third. That's breaking the pitch down into those three zones. He's in the 85th percentile for tackling people dribbling the ball at him. He challenges 96% of dribbles that come at him. He has a percentage of dribblers tackled well, 9%. Challenges lost, only 1%. So he has a pretty good record of winning tackles when he goes in for them. He certainly is not a weak tackler. Blocks-wise, he's in the 81st percentile per 90 minutes. Shots blocked in the 14th percentile. So not a player that, often will throw himself in the way of the ball. I think that is obviously, down to probably the different styles that are used at the clubs he's been at. Passes blocked, though, he is in the 99th percentile. These are all, like I said, per game, not per season, not per whatever. So per game. 36 percentile in terms of interceptions. Tackles and interceptions, 82nd percentile. Errors in the 83rd percentile. Makes very few errors in game, which is very, very reassuring. So, defensive wise, his stats look very good over the 90 minutes. It has been discussed in a number of fan forums, fan formats, media outlets at this moment in time that the battle is certainly between us and Celtic to secure Danieluk. He is a player apparently that they are interested in as well, but many people are actually saying that he favours a move to Rangers over a move to Celtic. Whether that is because he sees obviously Rangers as an opportunity to play more first team football, I don't know, but that seems to be the sort of common theme throughout this. But this is the latest centre-back that is being linked with the club. Personal opinion, I think it's a good signing if we can get it across the line. If we are genuinely interested, this is the sort of player that we should be going for. Young, strong, good in the tackle, defensively sound. That's what we need. Forget offensive side of the game with these guys. We need to build a solid defense, and Danieluk certainly looks, that's how you say his name, a very good prospect. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, on the way out, if you could do me two favors: number one, smash that like, and number two, remember always, we are the people.